Okay, today is May 26, 2015. Today the market had a little rough time here. Let's go and just take a look at some of the index. The S&P 500 actually closed down somewhere around 21.86. That's a little bit over 1%. And you can see that we're watching for this inside coil. Remember this inside, this engulfing candle. We got a inside bar, two consecutive inside candle that were printed last week on Thursday and Friday, and basically was watching for a resolution on that. We're watching if it's gonna break above the inside candle, the engulfing candle high, or break below the engulfing candle low. So as it turned out, and it wasn't a big surprise to us to see it actually turn downward. And that's already kind of flagged it to us basically on last Tuesday, May 19. So right now, although people think that we might getting a little bounce here off of this 50-day moving average, all I'm saying is I don't believe this this pullback is over yet. Yeah, we might get a little bounce until that it could put in a new high and also see a little bit more strength on the breadth. I've been telling people on Twitter that the market breadth is getting weak. So any new high that we are seeing should be very suspicious and met with skepticism. So right now you see this big fall today. Although that we might not see the same amount of drop tomorrow in this degree, but certainly you can see the VIX is picking up. So obviously some fear is coming back to the market right now, and if it come down and it can't get support up at this arbitrary trend line here, just basically connecting some of these low point, then we'll probably see it will come down to 2080.15, somewhere around this pivot low here. That will most likely be the next level for the S&P 500 to see could it find some support and get a little bit of a bounce. But even though it get a bounce here, I'm just I'm kind of looking at this. Not saying that I'm using my crystal ball to go and project anything. So let's say it come down and then we get a little bit of a bounce. And come back right here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of a head and shoulder kind of forming here on the S&P 500 in the near future. If we do get a bounce off of here, on this pivot somewhere around this 2080 level here. But if it keep on dropping, then we'll probably be looking at this particular level, this particular level here for the next potential support. So that would be back to the the March pivot low, okay, and I wouldn't even be surprised if we break that. That we probably in the coming month before summer is over, that we might see the retest of this December pivot low here. Okay, so but those are a little bit distant away. And what we basically want to keep an eye on right now is on this 2080 level, and any sign that it is coming up to this new high, we have to go and take a look at the breadth and then see how genuine that new high is. Okay, and if it's not, then it might be a good opportunity to sell into that. So let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial. You see the Dow Jones, it got resolved last Friday on this inside coil. Although on Thursday it got a little doji that sort of went right to it, but actually closed back inside that engulfing candle. So that's not a valid breakout or a breakdown or whatever that happened to be. But then on Friday it's actually closed below that. So we got a resolution on a breakdown from this this doji spinning top type of candle, and that's the day that it hit a new high. We call it record closing high with the S&P 500, and then on Thursday S&P 500. So it did a little bit of a longer stuff, and then it got pushed up to a new record high. Probably primarily due to Apple. Apple was pretty strong that particular day. So but again, looking at the breadth, it wasn't anything to write home about to say, oh my goodness, the market is going to new high and it's going to go higher, because there wasn't much of a breadth to support that new high. So you can see that the Dow Jones also dropped over 1% today, and it fell 190 point and some change. So again, similarly to the S&P 500, if we can't find any support on this trend line here, then we're essentially looking at this pivot low somewhere around this 17,826 level here. And if you can't find that support, then we'll be back to this March pivot low, and here's the December pivot somewhere around here. Okay, so right now we are basically looking at this particular support level. This trend line could be give it a little bit of a temporary support, and also again, when we see this index to try to make another new record high, which I would not be surprised. Okay, we might get a little bit of a record high on the Dow. And again, that probably will not be substantiated with market breadth support, and that would be another opportunity to sell into that high. Okay, so that's basically what I'll be monitoring. But if it come down to the 17,826 and it break below that, then we're probably looking at these level here. So again, similarly type of a pattern that could be possible, like the S&P 500. Here's the potential. We could come up here, then you could get a potential head and shoulder type of a pattern that breaks down. And if that's the case, and we could go and sort of make a little bit of a major move, and just kind of do a little bit of what if. Alright, so let's say here's the baseline, that head and shoulder, and then if I just take this major move down, so you can see that it's essentially coming down to these pivot level here, somewhere in the these February and December level. So it's all depend, how what that baseline look like. But again, right now we're essentially monitoring this 17,826. I think that would be a level to watch and see what we get a bounce, and then what kind of bounce we will get. And you can see transportation is pretty much have booked into this trading band. And if we just do a simple major move on this trading band, just get this this distance here and project it down, and you can see that we're essentially looking at somewhere around these level, somewhere around the 7,900, which is down here at these October pivot level. So you can see that transportation is getting weak, and again, we basically have to be very careful in this market environment, okay? Because you can see you can project this down just with a little channel that tell you that they probably have a good possibility of coming back down to this 8,200 level in the near term. And then also you look at the MACD. The MACD is also kind of turning down and cross it under. So, and looking at the NASDAQ 100, let's get this thing a little bit more zoom in. The NASDAQ 100, you see that last Friday we saw this little shooting star here, and then today we got this little gap down. Although this right here doesn't give you a ideal evening star type of pattern, but it does give you that similarity. So I wouldn't be surprised to see continuation on the downside and possibly get down to this trend line. And then again, we're basically looking at this 43.79 or 43.80, this particular pivot level for possible support. So we kind of keep an eye on that, okay, because it's taking out of these pivot level here. Okay, so yeah, we might get a little bounce, although the tech seems to be strong. But I posted a little bit earlier on some dollar chart on the dollar and on the euro and then on the Japanese yen. It's all about the US dollar, and a lot of these tech companies do a lot of business overseas, so exchange rate will affect them greatly. So let's take a look at the Russell. The Russell 2000 is also pulling back and never even got close to the to its all-time high. And I'm saying that this thing is in the process of building this head and shoulder pattern. If it come down to this 1208 level and break, then we basically got this head and shoulder. This is not the left shoulder. This is the left shoulder here. This is part of this big head. That's how I see it, because otherwise, then we're basically looking at this as the baseline, right? So I think the parallel line is much more, much more conviction or support of whatever that could be, that you want to categorize than on a slopey line, okay? So because on a straight line, on a flat, horizontal line, then you got more touches on that line versus on a slope line, you might not have as many touches. Okay, so but anyway, that's how I look at it on this pattern is this potential head and shoulder pattern. And again, if we take a look at and play a little bit of what if, and if I do a little bit of a projection, assuming this particular level is the baseline, then I move this thing down, then you can see that it is, getting into this, the December pivot level here that could be retested if this pattern does, form and breaks down. Okay, so that's basically is the market. Look at the market today. I hope you were a little bit prepared for today's action, that you weren't too committed on the long side, because the market have been telling us that be prepared for days like this, and I think there will be a little bit more of similar type of action to come before the market kind of take out some of the excess and then maybe get a little bit of a dead cat bounce or something. So just be careful out there, and good luck.